Morning mates, Brenda and I are going to head south down the National Seashore. We don't expect much, there's a pretty damn strong wind already blowing about 15-20 mile an hour, but we thought we'd go for a drive, see what's going on. As we were going for a drive, of course we had to take our rods with us. So let's have a see on what's going on. Well, several sets as you can see. Now we've got a low tide at 9:57, and then it goes up to a high tide at 1:09, but it's not really a full high tide, it's just a bump. So it's more like the current will stop moving, and then it goes out for a full low tide at 8:41 this evening. So there you go. Beach is a little bit narrow, you can see a piece of weed. You've got several sets. Water clarity is not bad. Now there is a rule which I'll share with you, and the rule is if it's blowing from the south, if you go south, that moves the wind direction slightly offshore because of the curvature of the beach. If it's blowing from the north, you stay on the north end. So the deal is, I mean, this is getting pretty soft already, and we're only like at the 6. So, I mean, you can get through it, but it is softer than expected. Plus, there's a lot of new weed on the beach there. So I'm gonna keep you posted on that. Let's see if we can drive through it. Well, we're at the 15 already, so you could make it out to the 15 in two-wheel drive without too much problem, as long as you kept rolling through that soft stuff and stay in the tracks. If you see tracks, stay in. But let's see what it is, how soft it gets as we go through the high banks. We should be starting in the next few miles. Okay, we're at about the 23. We're going through the high banks. See, at low tide, you can ride down here. It's no problem. If that water comes up though and you're stuck in that soft stuff, you better have four-wheel drive, otherwise you ain't gonna make it. Let me show you. See, this is where you'd be running if it was high tide. If you ever have to do that, you just stay in the tracks, and that's where you're going to find a firmer surface for you to drive on. Often get people saying they can't read the beach. I wanted to point out this block gut. You can clearly see this deep gut coming along here by the beach, and then it totally blocks off here. There's block guts all the way along this beach. There's another one. Now, when I used to do a lot of trout fishing with Ralph Wade, you were not allowed to pass up a block gut. So I caught a small whiting, and I'm going to show you how we put it on a pulley rig, and we're going to cast it out and do up-tide fishing, which is the only way to hold it. So, God bless him. So that's how I've cleaned it up. It's about 1.5 inches. I'm going to put that on what we call a pulley rig. Take the piece of meat through the meat section and out through the skin. That's all I do, is that. Right. Then I go to the loop. So when it casts, this can pull back as hard as it wants. It's not going to go anywhere until it hits the water, and then that fires it off. Now when the fish hits, this is where the pulley works. It does that. That's what puts that bit of fish and that hook into the redfish. The other thing I want to talk about is the circle hook. Always make sure your circle hooks are dead in line with the shank. A lot of people offset them because they don't understand how they work. way they work is the fish actually swallows that hook, then it will turn and run from where it picked it up, and it will pull the hook up through its gill and out. And as it comes out, it forces tissue through this gap here, and that's what catches the fish. And that's why it's always in the mouth. So let's throw this out and see what we can get into. And I'm going to want time, so Tony's going to walk with me up the beach. So we need to do what's called uptime fishing, so we can stand a chance to hold it. I'm walking back to the truck. I'm tightening it up. Now I'm put it down here, and I want the line to appear running straight out. So here's the truck, right? I've walked up the beach, I cast out here. You see this, Brent? So I threw that out, then I walked back to the truck, and that turned the sinker into the current. And that's allowing it to hold better. And if you look, that's holding nice. So there you go, that's uptime fishing using cut bait. At this block gut, we saw some movement on the water, so I decided to go out to see if the mullet were there. Haven't seen any yet this year that I've fished with, so it was a good opportunity. I walked out to the bar and walked along it. Well, we made it all the way down to Mansfield, so I wanted to show you what that looked like. They've done a lot of filling in back there. It looks really good. Nice place to camp, actually. You can see where they've dredged it out. It's really deep. Water's running strong through there now. Anyhow, they did a real good job. That has got to be the biggest camper I've ever seen at the 45. We might even be like 48, but that's pretty brave to bring that one down. Gonna have to wait for a low tide to pull it off.